you want to learn how to play Shale. I mean, it says so in the title. There's no other reason for you to have clicked unless you don't have access to the game and maybe want a few sneak peeks at an upcoming asymmetrical horror game centered on a unique ability system that I came up with. But that's very unlikely. In any case, let's start the video and talk about Shale's a really basic killer, and the first killer that players can use in Game with Evil. He's even on the thumbnail of the game. So, you know, mascot, whatever. What was I gonna say? Shale is essentially the definition of a rushdown killer. He has two abilities that do damage in close range, and then two utility abilities that deal little to no damage but help him in a lot of chases. So let's go over all of his abilities, starting with his M1. Shale's first ability is Swipe, a simple M1 that deals 20 damage with a really small windup. Not much to talk about, it's a pretty effective move and will be the ability you use the most to deal damage. Shale's second ability is Slate Hammer, a Q ability that propels you forwards and deals a good 30 damage to anybody you hit after half a second of charging up. Additionally, you will get slowness 1 for 3.7 seconds whether or not you hit anything and launch victims away, ragdolling them momentarily for 2 seconds. Even though the distance survivors make in chase isn't far, the distance they're launched is far. For Shale, catching up to survivors is easy after using Slate Hammer because of the ragdoll keeping the survivor in place, unless you fling them over a loop or a wall, in which case it might be a little harder. This means that it can be used as a punish, as general means of damage, or as an execution ability to kill survivors on the spot. It's very multi-use and very versatile. Shale's third ability is Slate Throw, an E ability that throws a slate skin potion to your cursor with decently heavy bullet drop. Once it hits a solid object, like a survivor, a wall, etc., a large circular hitbox appears that applies slowness 1 for 4 seconds, resistance 1 for 2 seconds, and exhaustion for 1 second to survivors, and does a measly 4 damage, which usually never matters unless your target is on 4 HP or less, in which case, hilarity ensues. It's also good for punishing and should be used over Slate Hammer if it is not on cooldown. Hitting a survivor with Slate Throw in close range is the equivalent of sentencing a survivor to death by firing line. The slowness that survivors have to endure means you're going to be dealing at least 50 damage unless the team is there to bail people out. Shale's fourth ability is Slate Form, an R ability where Shale burrows underground, getting ESP on the closest survivor every second and granting Shale with double speed and invisibility / undetectable. After exiting Slate Form, Shale is vulnerable to stuns for a moment before being allowed to chase again with extra speed to boot for 4 seconds. This is adrenaline. Because of this period of time where Shale cannot do anything after exiting Slate Form, the ability is mainly used to enter a chase with survivors on the other side of the map and isn't very helpful mid-chase where the survivor gets a free opportunity to stun or regain stamina. Shale's main form of damage is through his M1, making him a good pick when going up against evasive abilities like block or roll, which are great at wasting abilities and putting them in cooldown. However, as Shale, you should be incredibly aware of potential blocks during Slate Hammer since it's an incredibly easy attack to block and grant survivors with free distance and applies you with slowness for no damage in return. Slate Hammer has a slightly niche use in the sense that it can push survivors into corners thanks to the fling it produces. So if you're getting looped, you can try to use Slate Hammer to break the loop and force the survivor to find a different way out. You should also be wary of ranged abilities and try to eliminate them first, like Rifle and Sandman, because they have the ability to cancel your Slate Hammer from far away and can stun you after any of your 3 abilities, heavy and light durations. Compared to other killers, Shale holds up pretty well as a killer in the metagame, but there's also only 3 killers in game right now, so that doesn't really say much. I'd say he's definitely a good choice, being slightly better than Fallen and around the same, if not a little worse, than Corvex, who is also 1,000 points and thus very expensive. Now that I'm done going through Shale's general description and overview, I'll play some Shale gameplay on the screen to show how he can be played effectively. I hope this guide helped you, and have fun shaling.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I say